Ethiopia that's where the rebel were based, the South Sudanese, or the Sudanese Railroad, the SPLA, where they were based there. And that's the only place we could go because there they got, it's a camp they pumped out of which there was no any non-governmental organization like UNs that could help out. They were just there surviving on their own. So we took off. And this is a journey that you have not prepared for or anything. And on our way there, we went through a lot of obstacles on the way. And life was hard there too. We got wild animal eating. Some of us, some died through thirst, some died through hunger, some were sick, some got tired, they couldn't walk, and some were killed by also the local tribe people that were also shooting us, and some of us were also kidnapped on the way. So there was a lot that we went through on our way to Ethiopia. And this was a journey for 3 months, on which you walk at night, rest during the day, walk at night, rest during the day because it's too hot. But after 3 good months, we arrived in Ethiopia, and we were settled there. We stayed in Ethiopia for 3 years, and during that course of the 3 years there, we all different group of children from all over southern part of the country, from different tribes. But the people that were like taking care of us, they were looking after us. They came up with a system that they didn't want anybody to feel like you have a brother here, so you're gonna discriminate the other one. Everybody was your brother next to you. And if I have my brother, they will separate me from my brother and put in a different group. So anybody that you have there was your brother, was your cousin, and that's the parents you got there. So, and we came up, so all of us see each other as one family. And that's how we managed to survive through that time. Our life there was so hard too. There wasn't any. It was after 2 years later when the UN started coming in, and they were not even coming with through the convoy. They dropped some sack of beans and corn and some cooking oil in their hair. And some kids got killed through that one too. So that's how they supply us. But it didn't last long before Ethiopia went to war, and we were forced to move back to Sudan. And on our course moving back to Sudan, also the same scenario happened again. We lost a lot of lives, caught in a river called Kilo. Some were eaten by crocodiles, some were drowned because they couldn't swim. Some of which, if you know how to swim, somebody will jump on your back and you will draw with them too. And in my case, me with other kids, there was the now current president of South Sudan. He was then the deputy rebel leader. And he happened to come and walk with us through there. So his bodyguard managed to put the rope across the river. And that's how we got to cross the river. Now, on that, it took us another almost a year and a half walking across southern part of the country towards Kenya. And in 1992, we arrived in Kenya, Kakuma refugee camp. And this was just a desert place, open area, all wild wind that was blowing all over there. And that's where UN finally started out there. So we started building some houses, and all the Lost Boys had the same different group. They put you in group. And we had a lot of groups there for the Lost Boys. So I stayed in the camp for a long time. But back in 1995, I decided, I'll write out a letter to seek for scholarship with an organization called Dominican Sisters. So I applied like 3 times through them, but finally the last one, they accepted me. So I went to a boarding school down in a place called West Pokot District in Kenya. This was also in the same province. But that's how my move out from the camp started. And in 1999, I went back. Like during the holidays, I go back to the camp. That's the only home I had back then. So I'll go back for holidays, come back to school. In 1999, they started out to do screening, whereby the UN wanted to resettle us. So we were asked to take some photos and write our life story that they might take us to either US, Canada, or Australia. So I went back there, I took my pictures and I wrote my life story. I went back to school. While I was down in the school, my name was called for interview, which they call JBA. It's like the starting of the process to come down here. So I didn't go for the first time, I didn't go for the second time, and I went there the third time. Back then, most of the lost boys, they already have done their process, and this was now in 2001. So I went and stayed in the camp for 8 months, waiting for my name to be called, but they never show up again. I kept going asking. They tell me, wait, we will call you back, we will call you back. It never happened. So back where I was in school, I lost my scholarship because I was not there anymore. After staying in the camp for 8 months, I decided, I'm going to go back to Nairobi. And I will try a different way out again, look for a scholarship, maybe get a little bit more education. So I went back to Nairobi. That was another wild chase, I didn't have any place to stay or anything like that. Started looking for scholarship like I was looking for a job. I go from office to office, applying, and it wasn't that easy. In 2002, the same organization, again, accepted my application. And that's where they gave us a new form to apply for the resettlement to come to the United States. That was another long story, a long process. But after a while I was in school, we were doing those processes. I went for JVA, then I went for INS interview. The result came out, I passed. Then they have to send everything to the FBI here for the processing, for the background check and the clearance. And I went for medical checkup. And on 18 October 2004, my flight came out for Des Moines. So I arrived here October 19, 2004. I went to Urbandale. I stayed there for almost 7 years, till recently when I bought my house on the east side of Des Moines. And I've now started my family, so I'm not lost boy anymore. I'm a lost father now. So that's my story. go back home in 2012, December 2012, and I need to meet with my family for after 25 years of not seeing them. Then I went back last year again to see them. So, but pretty much the same situation now had happened again. We now have another, I don't know what they're going to call them, but we have hundreds of thousands of children that are already orphaned right now. Maybe some of you have read about the crisis going on in South Sudan, and that is real. It's very heartbreaking because the country has been torn apart just in only a year and some months. Not even the same like the war that was fought for 21 years, but this one has really torn the country apart. We might have another set of lost boys, maybe the lost boys 2 or something, I don't know, but yeah. So, South Sudan became independent in 2011, and in 2013, December, they went to war again. And they are still fighting up to right now. So that's what's going on. The floor is open to everybody right now.
What were your favorite games to play?
Oh, soccer. That's what we lived on. The only thing we had was either play dominoes, and while we were in Ethiopia, we started school there. We didn't have any classroom. We write on the floor. We don't have book. We don't have any pens or anything. We only write in the sand. And soccer was one of the games that we played most.